Well, this morning, before we get into our main body of message, I wanted to share since it is that time of year, we're kind of signing off on 2017 and looking ahead at 2018. I wanted to just give a very, very bird's eye view, aerial view of what's to expect for 2018. And this doesn't cover everything by any stretch of the imagination, because there's a lot of other ministries that are doing a powerful job and terrific things. This is just a slither. This is just a little foretaste of what's to expect for next year, 2018, and I wanted to share it with you all. Next year, we hope to see a lot of this. Amen? What do we see in the screen? What do you see? I see laughter. Do you see laughter? I see relationships. I see connections. I see networks. And of course, I see Bible studies as well. We're praying that 2018 will be saturated with personal Bible studies, relationships, laughter, prayer, connection, networking. Amen? This is one of the biggest things. We want to lay our eggs in this particular basket. This is one of the biggest, strong emphasis that we're going to be having. One of the things we're going to have in January is we're going to launch we're still working on a name. We're developing a name, but it's basically a kind of a team, a club, if you want to use a club, of Bible teachers that are going to be dedicating a lot of their energies to visiting people in their homes and giving Bible studies. Now, I know some of you are terrified because you're like, whoa, I've never given a Bible study in my life. That's okay. If you're totally green to this discipline, that is absolutely fine. You're welcome to join. We're going to split people in teams of 2. Amen? Teams of 2. Why? Well, because that's what Jesus told us to do, right? In teams of 2. But also it's an opportunity for those maybe who don't feel as confident in being a Bible teacher that could tag along and maybe be an observer, and maybe be a prayer partner. Does that make sense? But this is one of the big emphases that we're gonna strive to communicate. If you look at the screen, I'll decipher some of those hieroglyphics. 70 EM basically means 70 homes. Now, notice I didn't say 70 people. I said 70 homes, which means it's more than just 70 people, who attended our evangelistic meeting earlier this year. Some of you were here for that evangelistic meeting, January, February. These are 70 homes that came at least once to Johnny Mosqueda's evangelistic meeting. Some of them that were kind of just, you come once and life happens and you don't come back. But it's people who, the fact that they come shows that they have an interest. The fact that they come shows that they're hungry and thirsty. The fact that they come is because they have questions, yeah? So these are 70 names that literally, 70 homes rather, that just fell in our lap, and we need to follow up on these people, amen? And the best way of following up on these people is, hi, how's it going? Do you remember us? Now, of course, it's been close to a year now, which is not good, but we hope that it left a very positive impression, that they'll remember some of our smiling faces. So we have 70 homes that attended the evangelistic meeting. We have 16 that have either graduated or are on the verge of graduating from the Amazing Facts Bible Correspondence School who haven't stepped foot into our church. Amen? What does that show? It shows that there's people that are searching that maybe they haven't connected yet with the actual Panama City Seventh-day Adventist Church. They're here in the city. So we want to follow up on these folk, because, of course, they're hungry and thirsting after righteousness. We have 12 people who are enrolled in the Voice of Prophecy Bible studies as well. And lastly, we have 65 that are involved in the It Is Written Bible studies. This brings us to a total, now listen to what it says, a total of 163 homes. I didn't say 163 individuals. Amen? Because in a home, there's more than one individual in most cases. So, how do we translate all of this? This is the way we translate 163 homes. A lot of work. Amen? A lot of work. This is 163 homes that cannot be done by one person. This can't be accomplished by a group of 4 or 5. We need, if we could get 20 to 30 people that are committed to going out and following up on some of these leads, being involved in personal Bible studies, I would say we have a good situation. Obviously, it's not the best situation. The best situation is everybody's involved, but of course, not everybody can commit to something like this. However, we would love to see about 20 to 30 minimum people involved who would undergo the commitment of following up on names. Of course, if you have a team, you're not going to get 163 addresses, so don't panic. Of course, this is going to be dispersed amongst the team. What we want to do is we want to have a crash course of how to give Bible studies. Now, of course, some of you have been giving Bible studies longer than I've been alive, so obviously some of you don't need a crash course, but it's a good opportunity of just kind of sharpening our swords, and also it's a good way of inputting, because there's things that you do in-home Bible study that somebody else never thought of. That's actually a good idea. We plan to do this sometime in January, and we're going to launch it sometime mid-January so that we could go ahead and start following up on these people. Of course, not every name is going to welcome you with arms wide open. You are aware of that, right? Oh, come on in. We've been praying for you guys. No, not everybody's going to do that. Some people are going to be like, huh? Did I go to an evangelistic meeting? I don't remember that. You're going to have and then you are going to have those seldom occasions of people saying, we've been praying for somebody to come. You're going to have some of that, but you're not always going to have that, okay? So it's going to be a broad spectrum of different things. But this, I believe, is what we all need to be focused on. I think we need to commit of reaching people here in the city that are asking questions, that are involved in in-home Bible studies, that are watching Amazing Facts That It Is Written. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to get involved. Granted, this list of names, this is not an exclusive list of names. There's other databases out there that we can get in order to gather more interest. However, this is definitely more than enough for us to get started. So this is one of the big things that we want to start. English as a second language program. Okay, there's a lot of people in Panama City who don't speak English very well. This is a reality. Tiffany, along with a couple others that she's been working with, are going to be developing a program for the community to gather people who would like to learn how to speak English. Of course, that will facilitate opportunities for them getting jobs and for people maybe going to school, etc. Any questions? Talk to Tiffany. She has all of the information on that. We just want to make you aware of some of these things. January, which is 2 days away, of course, has several things in line. Some of you have heard me multiple times talk about the Law Enforcement Appreciation Service. You will be getting a flyer. I know. Some of you are like, I already have one. That's okay, because the flyer that we're going to give you is not for you. Amen? It's for your neighbor. It's for your friend. It's for your family member. It's for somebody other than yourself that you can invite to, okay? We're going to have the city mayor here with us. We're going to have the chief of police. We're expecting to be an awesome time together, and the idea is to invite as many people as possible to a neutral Sabbath service where people can come and not feel that the formality is too heavy or maybe too intimidating, like a prophecy seminar or something of that nature. And by the way, if you're a business owner, if your line of work involves rubbing shoulders with a lot of people, we encourage you not only to take one, we encourage you to take a couple stacks. And we have plenty of these out in the front. There's a chair on the right, and you could grab as many as you need, okay? So we want to encourage you to do so. That's going to be on the 13th of January. The last Sabbath of January, we're going to be having a youth rally. Amen? We're gonna invest in our young people. We're gonna invest in the future of Panama City SDA Church. We have a special guest coming from the University of Florida. He is actually the Associate Youth Director for Public Campus Ministries in the Florida Conference. He used to be a chaplain at Harvard University. So he's definitely a gifted young man. Angelo Grasso is his name. He's gonna come. That entire weekend is gonna be dedicated to young people. Also, we're gonna be networking with FSU down the street, and also Gulf Coast, because the idea is to launch a campus ministry. Why? Well, there's 100 reasons why we want to do that. But a couple of those reasons, which actually, Dana knows Angelo because he worked with him in Gainesville. Gainesville out there when he was there. So part of the reason why we want to do this here is because that age bracket is underrepresented in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and we would like to reach out to that age bracket. But not only that, it's also because that's a moment in a person's life where they're asking probably more questions than not. That time period is the time when people are making decisions that are going to severely make impacts in their lives, whether it's who they're going to marry, what profession they're going to get into, etc. So this is all we want to do that weekend, January 27th. The theme is the power of one. We'd like to see some of our young people that are not coming to church anymore be here for that. Amen? We'd like to see some of that. We'd like to see some of our young people that are coming to church invite some of their unchurched friends. This is all part of the original plan. So that's something to expect in January. Like I said before, there's a lot of other stuff. This is just a little foreshadow. February, we're going to be having a special guest come. Mike Tucker, some of you have seen him on 3ABN. This is going to be a special Gulf States Conference event, and we're going to be the host. Panama City SDA Church will be the host of this event. It's going to be a weekend for families, and Mike Tucker is going to be the speaker, February 23 to the 24th. Of course, there's more information to follow, but the idea is to cater to families, is to cater to couples, to young couples, to come and to be a part of this. It's going to be an exciting time, and they actually are encouraging everyone, even those of us that are faithful attenders, to go to this website and to register. Because if you register, you actually get the study materials. We're going to be talking more about that in the days to come, so don't feel like you need to write this down right now, but you are expected to register. Coming in March, we're going to be having Oakwood Adventist Academy Choir here with us. Has anybody seen the Aeolians? Anybody familiar with the Oakwood Choir? Okay, there's like a handful. There's a handful of you guys. So we're going to bring Oakwood Adventist Academy Choir here. It's like a 54-member choir. I don't know if they're going to fit in the platform, but we're going to try to fit them in the platform. And wow. I mean, if you're into a musical feast, that's a time you don't want to miss. It's going to be the first Sabbath of March. That following Sunday, that next day, which is be a Sunday, where we have two evangelical churches that we're actually talking with that are potentially going to be hosting them, Oakwood Academy Choir, to pretty much take over their entire service. And that is the United Methodist Church down the road and another Pentecostal church in the area. Keep that in prayer, because this event is not only for us to be blessed spiritually with good music, but it's also to build relationships with other evangelical churches and to connect with other churches in the area. Please pray for that. Exciting program coming up. April, we're going to be bringing Rico Hill. Some of you may have seen him on 3ABN. Some of you may have seen him in the Hope Channel. Rico Hill used to work for TNT. He used to work in Hollywood. Tremendous conversions story. And today he works for the General Conference. He works at the GC in Silver Spring. And he travels the country and the world doing health programs. Just about every church I have ever pastored, with the exception of maybe one or two districts, I have always had Rico Hill come. And every time he comes, it's an awesome experience. He's going to present the health message in a very tasteful and a very balanced manner. I know a lot of people in the past have had bad experiences with some health ministries because it's a little bit too on the extreme of things. What I appreciate about Rico Hill's approach is that he presents things in a very balanced way. Okay, so it's going to be exciting. A great opportunity to invite your friends. Ty is not here, but in the next couple Sabbaths, she's going to be speaking because she's actually. We had a conference call with Rico, and she's developing a small group program starting in January that's going to lead up to this event. Just a lot of awesome stuff, a lot of awesome experiences. So if you're somebody that have been disillusioned with the health message, you need to come to this because I think it's going to vindicate to you the fact that the health message is actually awesome. And it's not something that needs to be primitive and outdated, but that Adventism really should be at the cutting edge of health and science. We really should be leading the health and scientific world. So that's coming up in April rather. In May, the Aca Graduation. Okay, now why am I talking about the Aca Graduation? Because I came to this year to the graduation, and it was awesome. Was anybody here for the Aca Graduation? It was awesome. It was unbelievably awesome. I thought it was fantastic. We had, I would go nearly as far to say 90 to 95% non-Adventists in this church. Okay? It was amazing. So what do we want to do? We want to do a good job of supporting this event, and it's a good opportunity of putting our school on the map. Amen? To encourage people to recognize, wow, we got a school. That's awesome. So please come. I was thoroughly blessed. I was able to connect with some of the parents after the program in the reception hall. So these are some things that we're expecting to do. In the fall, jumping to late 2018, we're going to be bringing Pastor Nathan Renner. Okay, some of you may have seen him on 3ABN. I use 3ABN as a reference because I know there's a lot of you who watch 3ABN. Pastor Nathan Renner is going to be with us sometime. We haven't determined the dates yet. We're looking at September, October, but that's obviously not written on stone. And he's going to be doing a 1-week evangelistic meeting. Now, some of you are thinking, 1 week? Normally we do 30 days, 25 days. We're going to try to do things a little bit different this year. We want to do a little bit of what they do in Africa and in South America and in the Philippines. Amen? And that is that an evangelist doesn't come to town and preach for 24 nights. No, he doesn't need to, because the laity have already been involved in sharing the doctrines to the visitors, so that when the evangelist comes, his sole duty is to encourage people to make decisions. Amen? That's what most of the world church does. We want to see if we could do the same. So prior to Nathan coming, we're going to have a series of small groups. We're still developing this. But the idea would be to have 6 to 8 small group hosts in all of Panama City. And if we could average anywhere from 2 or 3 in each of the small groups, that's going to give us anywhere from 15, 18 to the 20s non-Adventists that can potentially transition from the small groups very smoothly to the 1-week reaping series. That's the idea. So we're hoping that the idea is successful. But Nathan, if you haven't heard him, I encourage you to get acquainted with his material. He's got an incredible testimony. He was an atheist for many years, and his good friend David Ashrick, some of you may know him, he became a Christian, and David reached out to him, and Nathan became a believer in Jesus Christ, and today he's a pastor at the Sonora Seventh-day Adventist Church in California. And he's going to be with us. And by the way, Wayne and Christine used to be members of his church when he was in Michigan. So they're actually very well acquainted. So those are some of the things that we're expecting for 2018. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. It's a lot of exciting stuff going on. And we haven't even talked about some of the other things that the Pathfinders and the Adventurers are doing. A lot of awesome things going on.